As a real estate broker focused on helping families and vendors navigate through the waters of inheritances and probates and trust administration, I've often dealt with local companies that help dispose of personal property. My job is exclusively the real estate, but often people turn to me for help. What do we do with these items? Collectibles, antiques, furniture, basic stuff, family heirlooms. And the answer varies based on location and family and individual case. But one tool I came across recently on a national platform, I had a chance to talk to you individually as well, is FairSplit. And we're lucky to have today I think he's the founder, but whatever, he's the head, he's the big honcho, Dave MacMahan from FairSplit. Thank you so much for joining us today, David.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me on.
So how do you describe FairSplit? I know what I think of it, but how do you describe it? It's your company.
Probably a good start as our slogan is divide things, not families. I started the company 12 years ago, actually 14 years ago now, but it was with the idea of helping people through life's transitions, be it the loss of a loved one, dividing an estate, downsizing from the big house to assisted living, or in divorce. And all those situations leave, what do we do with all the stuff? Like, who gets it? Does anybody want it? What can be sold? What can be donated? And it was, notes on paper, but then you're coordinating with people that are out of state. My sister lives out of state. Should I throw this away? Is she going to be mad at me if I don't ask her if she wants it? So we came up with an online platform so that you could basically list everything in the house, share it with family, and then make decisions on who gets what. And our platform is a process to get to those decisions with a system of rounds. Who wants it? Yes or no. There's a whole system on how to divide it fairly. And then actually, Bill, an interesting thing, most of our clients are over the age of 60, 65, and
they're young like me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when I started the company 14 years ago, those people that were 60, 65 dividing their parents' estate, they're now almost 80. So they weren't quite ready for doing everything online, whereas COVID and those of us getting more comfortable online, we're finding more and more people go, well, of course it makes sense to divide this stuff online. Why do we want to take time off and drive to mom's house and divide everything?
In my experience as a probate real estate agent, the idea of driving to mom's house and dividing things always sounds better than it ends up being. And the second time back is a lot worse. And then from there, it kind of falls apart. And so you kind of cut out that process. And I think if I understand the way your process works, you just need one person to be local to get the ball rolling, right? You don't need them all to show up. One person takes photos and kind of gets the process going.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the things, how we met on that other webinar is a few years ago, we decided to make the whole process of cataloging the home, making the inventory, just make it free. Because a friend of mine had another software company and he goes, okay, how can you get more people to use it? And I said, well, we built this amazing home inventory platform, but you could cobble that together with emailed attachments and Dropbox and Facebook, Google shared docs. You could cobble together some kind of a home inventory, but it wouldn't be, your whole family couldn't log in and look at it. You couldn't, it's not designed for that. So we made that free a few years ago. But the thing that I think is going to just rocket this process and make it easier is we're incorporating AI. And we're so excited about that because now you just upload the photos room by room of the things you need cataloged and basically submit it through our AI platform, and it will come back with a great name, description, a link to recently sold items on eBay, and it's incredible. And we're still going to offer that free. And then, Bill, I know one of the things that got you intrigued is we also are making it free and easy for any local agent, be it a probate attorney, a real estate agent, anybody who an insurance sales agent, if they want to put their brand and their photo and their contact and compliments of, that will all be, it's a 5-minute setup, and that's all completely free as well.
So again, just to clarify for those watching, because most people are going to be real estate agents, some are attorneys and other vendors, there's really two forks we can go here. One is just to say to our customers, hey, here's a tool you can use that most realtors aren't going to know about. It's another way that we offer service to our customers. Here's a tool that you can use. And I've met the owner and I'm glad to help you monitor the process, make sure it works. And the other option is if you take a little bit of time, you can set up your own what's called white label version of it, so that it has the veneer and the cover and the branding of your business, so that you're actually giving it to the customer for free, if that's what you want to go. Now, there's also different upgrades that you can pay for if they choose to get higher level service. Now, some of us have customers who free 99 is the only price they're ever going to pay for whatever reason. There's nothing wrong with that. But talk a little bit about what are some of the upgrades that somebody might choose to pay for to get higher level service on your platform.
So I would say at least 9 out of 10 families who do our home inventory, they're able to use it for free and invite their family to log in and look, and everybody gets on the phone and says, I don't really want any of this, but if you'll let me have this, what is there anything and they settle it. They are able, and then it actually lets you create the reports of, to donate these, sell these, or even to invite an estate sales company in and say, hey, is there enough here to do an estate sale? Right. All done online. You can invite all of it. With the branding, what's nice is, let's say you're working with a family, or you're wanting to work with a family, and go, have you figured out what you're going to do with all the stuff in the house? Do you want us to set up an account for you? We've got this new cool service that the AI will list it all. You just have to do the photos. If you want, I'll email you a link to set up the account for you. And actually, if you want me to just step into the foyer here, we can do the front foyer. We'll knock it out in 5 minutes here, and I'll show you, and then you can do the rest of the house later or something. So there's lots of, how much do you want to get your foot in the door? How passive or involved you want to be? But it is, people are fascinated by the AI. This is so cool. I mean, I'm so excited about it. This is 14 years now for the company, but watching what happens when you upload 8 photos from the foyer, and then you just submit to AI, and it comes back and gives incredible detail and about all those items, and all you did was push a button. That's a cool factor, but it also gets that family moving toward resolving the contents of the home, and which is really what they need to do to get the house empty and sold, right, for probate.
You use the right word, I think, which is getting them moving, because so often I feel like the process is so daunting. There's so much to do. And I don't think that people understand when they start how much there is to do. Even if there's a trust, there's accounting and reporting, on a probate, even more detail, and filing of legal forms. And so they're stuck. And I find anything that gets them moving forward is a positive. One of the key things I use all the time is I'll stop by your house and take photos and show them to investors to get you an off-market quote, just to get you going. And they'll often say, well, let's just go ahead and list it at that point. I can see here the same thing. While I'm there, I can also take pictures of some of the key personal property that you might be looking to sell, get an idea of what they're worth, and see what you and your family want to do with them. Or I can send an assistant to do the whole thing for them. And I probably more inclined to go that route. But the point is, it's a tool in the toolbox, but the key is, again, serve the customer. And part of it, that is just kind of get them moving a little bit, take one step.
Absolutely. Yeah, I talk to people all the time, executors especially, and they're almost in tears when they find us, because they're going, okay, I know there's all this paperwork I have to do. I know there's all this, but that whole house full of stuff, like how to even approach that. And what's funny, Bill, is you asked me, what are the upgrades you can pay for? And I got so excited about our free stuff, I forgot to even tell you how that works. If the family needs additional help in dividing things, for example, if there are people who, there's a lot of things that are wanted. I mean, we've divided estates with 2,000 or 3,000 items worth millions of dollars in small situations. If the people can't be in the same room because there's conflict, maybe they haven't spoken to a sibling in ages, but they still have to make cooperative decisions. I have executors and trust officers now hire us, and they'll go, okay, when it comes to dividing the personal property, we bring Fair Split in to do this. David actually serves as the administrator. And we have a system of rounds. Everybody logs in. There's a yes/no round. Does anybody want any of this? Yes or no. Everything that everyone says no to can immediately move to sell or donate. And as the executor, you can start making plans. Okay, how are we going to get rid of all this estate sale, or or just donation? And then after the yes/no round, which is also to identify if there's any issues, like, well, no, that was my baseball glove when I was a kid. I shouldn't have to choose that again. The next, we have also emotional value, where they can put points on things, like a silent auction. They can, they all get, let's say, 500 points, and they can put them on up to 7 items. And that way, whoever wants it most gets it. And that is really good for things like the cookie jar in the kitchen, or mom's necklace she always wore, that somebody really, really wants that more than anything. They'll put the most points. And then everything else is divided. If you've ever played fantasy sports, it's divided the same as a draft. It randomly assigns, if there's 3 kids, it'll assign a 1, 2, or 3. And then they all make their lists of top choice to bottom choice, what they want. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, until everything is awarded in the process. And so it's very efficient. It works well. We've been doing it 12 years with thousands of families. So yeah, that's what they can upgrade to. They can also upgrade, like, let's say they get all the photos in and they just want us to list everything. They want us to use the AI, go in and fix anything that doesn't look right, or they want us to validate pricing if they're trying to, we call it equalizing the value between heirs. So if there's 4 heirs and it's $20,000 worth of stuff, if they need to put values on things to make sure there's equal allocation, we can do that. We have estate salespeople that work with us that research and look up the price. It's not appraisal level. If they need appraisal level, you need to hire a local appraiser.
Right. I think that's one of the things about this process. People say, well, I know an estate, salesperson, and there are some I know who are really hustlers and will go out and look and give service to customers. And other locations, they're harder to find. And so you end up having to, on your own, get the ball rolling with a estate sale person. They'll say, well, what do you have? And they'll ask you to take pictures. And here you've already done that and coordinated with some of them and have a network of people you've worked with before. So again, just real quick, I want to kind of go on the website and let's kind of hit some of the highlight points that people should find. And let's see here, let me get to F12 that, and let me get to, where's our website at here? And there we go. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I'm going to do the F11. There we go. Okay, so the website is, oops, I took it off, is fairsplit.com. Dividing things, not families. There's a handsome guy. Is that a Hollywood actor you hired to put on your website?
Yeah, I got it. I got a stand-in.
And obviously, you can sign up for free and or schedule a call. The phone number's here. You can schedule a call there. That's how I got a chance to talk with David. So in real life, he actually responds and sets those appointments. And so you have a nice detail as to how it works. And then the pricing, of course, one of the things I always go to, well, is it really free? How can that be? On different circumstances, there's different programs. And again, there's the free program that we recommend everybody to start with before you start spending money. And then these are some of the additional upgrades. If you have more devisees, more people, more areas involved, obviously it's more complicated and more material, more items you're selling. This is the basics up to 300 people. So again, this is only if you're looking for more sophisticated program. Yeah. So so show me what you're most proud of on your website. What is this that you want people to make sure they see while they're here?
I think just that there's an answer. One of the things that I love is our resources area. If you go up to that resources tab, because my whole goal in doing this, helpful tips and videos. I have a whole series out dividing things with David. There's also there, if you look, it says letter of instruction, and that top there, you can actually download that letter of instruction. That came about from an interview with Trust and Estates magazine. We had 16,000 attendees, and they wanted me to give the attorneys and the wealth managers, like, gosh, give us a document that helps make sure our family doesn't have the issues you're talking about. So I developed this with an estate planning attorney, and it basically addresses the thing that executors normally are getting stuck with. What they're getting stuck with, just divide everything equally with the kids, divide all the furniture and jewelry and everything, just divide it equally. And there's no instruction. I tell people before you get started, is the estate going to pay for the shipping, packing and shipping? Or does each person pay for it? That's important. If you've got a sibling that lives out of state, does the rest of the family really want to pay to ship a dining room set cross country?
Right.
That might probably cost twice as much as the dining set's worth. Right. All kinds of things that giving the executor permission to get outside help to specify that, because they'll have siblings that will say, well, mom and dad thought you were going to do that. Why should we pay for that? And so it's like every unknown thing. But I had an attorney, Bill, that about 3 months ago called me, and she was executor for her family's estate. They made her the executor because she was an attorney. She goes, but I'm a corporate attorney. I don't know anything about this stuff.
Exactly.
And she goes, I'm so overwhelmed with all the other parts of the estate settlement and being the executor and all this. She goes, and I got to the house and she goes, and I watched your videos. And she said, as I watched your 1-minute videos, my anxiety came down further and further and further to the point I started crying. She goes, I just needed to know there was some help out there. And so that's what I'm most proud of, is that we actually do help those families get through a tough process of getting things divided. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things I saw also when I coach real estate agents or attorneys on their marketing strategy, you want to take a tool that you're good at and you want to share it with your customers in a way, and your prospective customer in a way that's effective for them. One of the things you offer it is because of your, I think, great resources, that somebody who wants to talk about this area of, estate sales and downsizing and post, deceit and cleanup and all those areas, you have a whole bunch of content that I'm sure you'd love to have people repost for you as a way to promote your brand, that they can also promote their brand. And so one of the things I really point people to is say, listen, if this is a service you're going to offer, agents often struggle, say, what do I put on my social content? What do I make videos of? Well, A, you could repost David's videos, or B, you can look at his and copy the format, the content, and point to his website as another way to create content. He also has blog posts with some great articles, again, that you can either repost and or summarize and post in your social media, I think. And he's did a really good job, I think, of creating content for agents that need to promote the business. And this is just one of the tools in their toolbox.
Bill, I tell people all the time, grab whatever you want. Grab whatever, links, copy, credit us if you can, that'd be great. But the other thing is, we even built a artwork. If you go to that resources at the top, I think it shows, go to the videos and other, I think the top, royalty-free art. Click on that royalty-free art down at the bottom. We actually commissioned an artist. I could not find for social media posts, for anything. I couldn't find any royalty-free artwork that let me just
love this.
Yeah, so this is like, grab it, snag it. I paid an artist to build all this for me, that you can just use this in any of your social media posts or blog posts. And we did it, and the only promotion we get is copyright fair split at the bottom, and I'm totally fine with that. It's just trying to help people who are in this space.
So cute. I feel like I'm reliving some of my escrows here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this was nice, just a basic, as we talk about, you need to get a will, you need to get an estate plan. Just having artwork, like you say, is often difficult to find royalty-free artwork. Wow.
Yeah. So we've been out here, almost 14 years in this space, and are just excited that so many times the families will say to me, David, I don't know how we would have done this without you and your company. We were completely, as you say, we were stuck. Like Bill, I think I mentioned that New York Times article we have in our home, but it talks about, it was two sisters who could not be in the same room. One lived out of state, and probate was stuck. They could not agree on what to do with the contents of the home. And it had been sitting for a year, and they couldn't move it. And the probate officer found me, our company, and then the New York Times actually did a big 1-page full story on the little things matter, that it can absolutely tank a process. So
the little things in any relationship, the little things matter. And I think this is no different. These family relationships get put on ice for 10, 15 years. Mom and dad pass away, but you thought it's back in the same spot as it was before. And so this is a great tool. So fairsplit.com is the website. And the company, David MacMahan is what do you call it? You're the founder, I think, was the
founder and CEO. And Bill, I should say too, our website, hopefully today, is going to be a complete new look and feel. And there's going to be a professionals tab at the top. And I think by tomorrow it'll be, and you click on that and it gives you a link to co-brand, and it's literally a 5-minute setup. You just upload your logo. Right now, it's a $200 setup cost that is deferred and waived if you don't feel like it's worth money. It's totally free to sign up. If you start using it a lot and you think it's worth it, come back and pay us. Mostly, I just want to be helpful to the families you work with.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that so much. And again, fairsplit.com is a company, David MacMahan. You go to the website, you can call the phone number here. We have 855-583-7828, or click and schedule call right into your calendar. That's what I did to meet with him the first time the other day, and I really appreciate it. David, I appreciate what you're doing, where you're coming from, and wish you continued success. Look forward to, maybe we'll have, once your new website's up, we'll have you back and we'll do another recording. We'll talk then, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.